أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك اللهم وحنانيك اللهم لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وسائر نبيين وصالحين وسلم على موفقني واهدني وسددني واجمع لي بين الصواب والثواب وعذني من الخطأ والهرمان آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of Questions and Answers. So I'm glad you are all back and eager to learn some new things today. As I'm sure you're getting used to me by now. Well, is it ever possible to get used to me? What I mean by that is at least you're getting used to my practice and method and process and structure of today's episode, and that is that I ask you to, if you have any questions or queries or really want to discuss something or bring to the attention of the viewers something, then the number to ring is 01274 214 299. That's Bradford 01274 214 299. And remember, let's have a conversation. I'm looking forward to my brother from Peterborough to give us a call again, inshallah, to put a query to us. And as I always say, always bear in mind the time. It's amazing how when you get into a question and you got to get the details out there, and then I reflect over the question and then I put a response, easily 10-15 minutes passes by without even realizing it. So that's important as well, because we have two sections of this, and the time just passes through our fingers. Before we know it, we call time on our dars and we're ready to go move on to the next thing. So if you want to make the call, make it nice and early so you have sufficient time to answer the question before we go to a short interval. And as again, he says, you're used to the fact that if I don't get any questions, which we normally don't do in the first 5 minutes or so, because we've just started to air, is what I would normally do is I go through my questions that I receive on our platform, where people are asking questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So let me see what's in store for us today, inshallah. So the first question is, Salam Mufti Sahab. Firstly, Jazakallah for replying back to my question. May Allah reward you. Ameen. It's always nice to get some complimentary comments and some du'as. Of course we do this for the service of Allah, and we expect our ajr from Allah, and we expect our reward from Allah. But there is adab, there are etiquettes. Man lam yashkuri nasa lam yashkurillah. That person who is not grateful to the people is not really grateful to Allah. And expressing gratitude to humans is a adab etiquette, a manner which is attempts should be made to inculcate within ourselves and also our young. Following your reply, when a company says it does not use drinking alcohol, am I right to assume that the alcohol is synthetic and mass-produced on a manufacturing site? So let me respond to that. So there we go. Click on there, press reply, and get my audio. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and ameen to your du'as. Barakallahu feekum. With regards to your question about if a manufacturer says that it does not use drinking alcohol, then yes, you are quite right to assume that this will be synthetic. Yes, there are other alcohol can be produced from other matters as well. Hops, for example, and things like that can also produce alcohol. But what you will normally find is that will also come under the broad category of drinking alcohol, meaning alcohol which is consumed either in the form of a wine or lager or a spirit, which is there to literally to intoxicate the person in a long term. Maybe not immediately, maybe go through the various stages, but the long term, that is the result. So yes, you will be quite right that it will be synthetic and it will be mass manufactured on a chemical site or a production site somewhere. To be honest, 99.9% of the time that is the case anyway. Nobody, unless obviously it is some kind of sweet or something in which the alcoholic beverage has been injected within the center. There are certain manufacturers of chocolates that have rum inside them or other types of liquor inside them, which is therefore obviously for people who do consume alcohol, so it has a chocolate and an alcoholic taste as well. So that is a response to that question. And as also you will know that I always code them so that at least people can then search them afterwards. So allow me to do that, please. Next question that we have here is on Assalamu alaikum. Are we allowed to get forward helix piercing done? Now, when I saw this question, I thought, what in Allah's name is forward helix piercing? I didn't know what it was, genuinely. I know Helix is a manufacturer of math sets because I do teach maths at our school here in Bradford, Olive Secondary School. So I thought, is this something to do with helix, as in the compass? You pierce the protractor or something? But no, it's not. When I searched it online, when I did the old search on any particular search engine, doesn't have to be a particular one, and I found that forward helix piercing is, well, I don't need to tell you. Let me read it out to you. Okay, a forward helix piercing is made in the outer rim of your ear. So that would be, I don't know how well you can see that. Okay, that would be here. Okay, this outer rim, right? So this kind of more cartilagey, not the kind of soft sort of spongy part that we have down here, which is normally where earrings go in. But the more cartilagey, more strong, where basically rugby players and MMA fighters get their cauliflower ear, because it's like a bone in a way, isn't it, really? So that's the question that's being asked. In response to that, let me just reply back to that. So, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With regards to piercing, piercing is permissible. It did take place in the time of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he did not forbid it. But the piercing that used to take place is in the lobe of the ear, the spongy part of the ear at the bottom. That's where piercing used to take part. We know in certain cultures that nose is also pierced, particularly, for example, in the Indian subcontinent, women also pierce their nose. And ulama have not necessarily given a ruling against that. So we find that these two types of piercing are something which A, has already existed in the time of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and has also existed in later times, and the ulama have not considered them to be impermissible. We now live in a very different world. In the last sort of 10, 20 years, things have been pierced which are beyond our imagination. People have pierced tongues. People have pierced their belly button. People have pierced whatever. You know, I don't even want to go there, what people have pierced nowadays. And this is now just kind of pushing the boundaries, trying to be on edge, trying to be as cool as we can, trying to be different, basically, so that, look, oh, I'm on a different level to compare to you are. And then this putting in earrings in the helix is also that kind of level. It is not something that we would ascribe to what we would call the ladylike, the respectful woman. That's not something we would connect with. This would be something that what we would expect is a certain type of women to be putting in those type of earrings. And we know that there is something which is called tashabbuh. Tashabbuh means to imitate somebody. So when we imitate pious people, when we imitate good people, when we imitate upright people, then there is ajr in it and there is reward in it. But when we start to imitate people who are fisk, commit open sins, when we start to imitate people that are of a certain nature, a crude nature, like say pop stars or something like that, in which they dress in a certain way, they pierce their ears in a certain way, then we are assimilating according to that particular characteristic. So what we need to do is we need to refrain from that type of behavior. So I hope I've answered that to the full. So let me just edit that number. I have been told that we have a couple of callers waiting. So we're going to take those calls in a second. Let me just, before I forget, I won't end up referencing this. Let me reference this, and then we will take the first caller. So dear first caller, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to ask a question that is it arrogance, ignorance, or lack of knowledge that in society nowadays, whenever women or there is gathering or people sit together, they talk about his daughter is doing this, his son is doing this, and we talk about all these things which are not allowed, and it's like haram, and you know better than me, but can't we talk about creative things? Can't we talk about our creator? Can't we talk something useful? But lots of time we experience that it's criticism and uh, just language and these kind of things, and
No,
they need to be addressed.
no, Jazakumullah khairan for that, sister. I'll make a note of that, inshallah, and then I will pick up that question as soon as we take the next caller. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
Wa alaikum salam, dear scholar.
How are you, my brother?
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. I'm actually on the road today, so I'm not at home. I couldn't watch your program, so I don't know what you've been saying, what you have said, and what you are going to say. But what I would like to say is Imam Imran did visit me today, and we did have a little chat, and we went to the mosque in Peterborough. We prayed the Jummah.
Very good, mashallah, very good. Jazakumullah khair for calling, even if it's a courteous call. We look forward to it, and I'm sure you'll find a repeat, hopefully, of this in the not so distant future. So you'll be able to catch up. But if not, it's available on our on the YouTube channel as well. So in a couple of days' time, it will be on the YouTube.
The thing is, I'm banned from YouTube because my daughter's banned me.
Oh, I see. Okay, then you cannot watch it on YouTube.
I don't do no social media, no YouTube. Actually, she's got a PIN number in there, so I have to ask her what it is.
Okay, fantastic, mashallah. Looks like she's got your lock keys. What to do then is I'm sure they'll have the Iqra TV will be running this again because so in the not so distant future. So you will catch it, inshallah. So rest assured. Where are you heading? Where are you heading?
I'm not heading anywhere. My son is doing a little bit of work, and I'm with him in the car.
Ah, fantastic. So you're a little bit of an errand, inshallah. But not to worry.
Yeah,
may Allah make your task easy and make it successful. Ameen. But as always, as always, my brother, it's nice to hear your voice.
Most welcome, and yes, thank you very much.
Barakallah fiqh, my dear brother. Assalamu rahmatullah. Okay, it's nice of my brother to always take time out to reach out to us and have a quick chat. Very pleasant, and that's the kind of association you should have. Those of you who are sat at home, you know, this is your place, this is your service, this is to serve the community. That's the reason why we attend here as presenters, and also obviously the founders and those who work at the channel. That's their purpose as well. And if it's not our purpose, let us make our niyyah again, so that we are mukhlis. We make our niyyah with ikhlas, with sincerity. That is our primary goal. Our primary goal is to serve the needs of our community, so that we get ajr for it, of course, and also the community benefits as well. So the question the sister raised, and it's a very, very important question, and it's about our social gatherings and what things do we discuss in our social gatherings. Now, unfortunately, shaitan gets the better of us. And rather than talking about things which will benefit us, we get bored. Nobody wants to talk about deen. Nobody wants to talk about, religious things and you should become a better, person. And nobody looks at oneself. We always like to have a good natter about somebody else. And one of the most enjoyable things we find, even though it's the most disgusting thing, is the eating of the back of somebody else. Now, even though it's disgusting when you think about it, to consume the back of somebody, but we find it the most tasty. We find it the most enjoyable. So in a way, it's a kind of like zombie-like thing to do, which is the fact that you eat the back of your fellow believer. So basically, it's like a zombie. A zombie is the only thing that likes the flesh of a human. But and so we've become zombies. But what is a zombie? A zombie is something which is dead but not dead. And I think that's a fantastic analogy that I just came up with, alhamdulillah, which is that a zombie is dead but not dead. So those people who talk about others are dead but not dead, meaning their hearts are dead. So they have, because that's a zombie, isn't it? A zombie has the physicality in the sense that it is physically alive. It runs around. It wants to do what normally creatures do. It wants to feed. It wants to eat. I don't know. Do zombies die of old age? Allahu Alam. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on that. I guess they do. I guess, if it's an organic species, eventually it will die. It can't just live forever. And I guess if it doesn't eat humans, it will probably die as well, or any creature for that matter. But what happens is that its soul is dead. It has no soul. So in essence, the soul has left the body, and then this human, the human remains, becomes alive. So, eating someone's back is exactly the same thing. And we enjoy that because our life is pathetic. So when our life is pathetic, you don't want to point out your faults. Oh, my son does this, my daughter does that, my husband does this, or my wife does that. We still got a mortgage. We can't pay the bills. I have an argument with my wife every day. If you're going to go through your life, how many things are you going to highlight that is a problem in your life? Isn't it easier to pretend that your life is perfect and look at the lives of others and make it out that theirs is worse? And sometimes when you want to get out of the mud, you like to drag somebody into the mud so you can get out. It's like when you're getting bullied at school or bullied somewhere. What you want to do is you want to deflect the attention from yourself onto somebody else. So people start talking about that person. In reality, those people who do sit in gatherings, they are sad people. They are sad people that they've got nothing better to do but to talk about other people. I always say, get a life. Why not get a life that you actually like so that you could talk about your life? But clearly your life must be poor, sad and pathetic that you're having to talk about other people. But that aside, the sin that you will get with that, the fact that you're doing ghibah, it will be so funny in a kind of non-funny way. It will be so humorous and ironic when that very person that you talked about is taking your good deeds and has a big smile on their face, okay, as they take your good deeds. Isn't that person's going to have the last laugh? So first of all, if you're going to go to gatherings, then have useful conversations, productive conversations. They don't have to always be about the akhirah, but it could be about some of your life. So talk about your problem. I'm having problems with my husband. I'm having problems with my youngest child. I'm having problems with my oldest child. My child is moving away to university. I have concerns. Raise your issues. So at least the people there can start to help you to discuss those issues with you. And when they discuss those issues with you, they might be able to offer you some advice and help. And that will be far beneficial for you going home now with this useful piece of information that can help you. Or if you can, alhamdulillah, if Allah gives you tawfiq, speak about some dini issues. What is it? Can you pray Surah Al-Fatiha properly? Do you know how to pray Salah properly? Do you know how to do these things? Ask. That will benefit. And if you find that this gathering is of no benefit whatsoever, then better for you to go home and sit alone at home. It's far better for you to do that. But unfortunately now with social media, even when you go sit at home, okay, you can still cause ghibah. I was speaking to a colleague of mine who works with us. We work together on charitable work. And I mentioned, we live in a call-out society now. So as soon as somebody's got an issue with somebody, they just go straight to social media and start saying, oh, that person's like this, that person's like that person's like this, whatever. So someone will say to them in response that, have you gone and told the brother this? Oh, no, I haven't. So you're not trying to give this brother nasiha. You're not trying to help this brother. You're airing his dirty laundry. You're getting out all his problems out into society. Is that what the hadith mentions? The hadith mentions that person who conceals something which his brother is doing, or words to that effect, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will conceal his sins. But if you're going to go airing the sins of others, then don't, that saying, isn't it? The people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Well, I think people in any houses shouldn't throw stones, but that particular phrase is, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Why? Because someone's going to throw a stone back. And when you're living in a glass house, well, it's pretty easy to smash one of your windows, even if you're, throwing the stone in the opposite direction. So before we start looking at the turmoil and the destruction and the sadness in all these people's houses, have a look at your own house. What's going on in your house? Are you absolutely content and peace and at ease? And if you are, you would never talk about anybody else's house anyway. Because you would be fearful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes the situation and He changes your halat in your house and makes the halat of that person that you're looking down upon to come into your house, and for what you've been given by Allah to go to that house. So you keep quiet. So you won't be arrogant anyway. You won't be sort of saying, oh, well, you should do it like this, you should do it like that, that's the way I do it, my house is so perfect, whatever. Because even if there's no ill intentions, nazar is going to come. So use the time that you have, whatever time it is, productively. Make use of it so that it will be for you, not against you. Because remember, in this life, anything is either for you or against you. Simple as that. Your money will either be for you or against you. Your salah will be for you or against you. Your Quran recitation will be for you or against you. Your tongue will be for you or against you. Your hands, every single thing in this world will either be for you or against you. Time itself will be for you or against you. Time will stand up and say, this person abused me. He did not use me for the purpose you created me for, Allah. You created me so that people could utilize me in order to better themselves. This person did nothing of the sort. In fact, he brought about his own destruction. So Jazakumullah khairan for those calls. Please do keep the calls coming in, but bear in mind we are now just about to go for a short interval. So once this short interval is over, please do call one nice social call and one interesting observation which I hope I've dealt with. So the number to ring once we return is 01274 214 299. Not now, in a few minutes time inshallah. So I look forward to seeing you and I hope likewise you look forward to seeing me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.